Okay, so if everything works out, this may be our final video of the day. There were too many pieces of news that I had to catch up with when I woke up, and this one I thought we could just combine into one big, bold video. So we're taking two of my favorite teams, the Canucks and the Red Wings, and going over each of the signings they had made. The Canucks made 2 signings, the Red Wings made 1. And of course, these were buried under the lead of all the other trades and stuff that we had seen today. My goodness, we saw 3 trades today, and 2 of them involved Pierre-Luc Dubois and Jacob Markstrom. There's no wonder nobody's talking about Mark Friedman, there's no wonder that nobody's talking about Albert Johansson, and there's no wonder that nobody's talking about the last guy that we're going to talk about who had gotten signed by Vancouver. So let's go out there and break down the 2 major signings by both of these teams. Actually, you know what? Firstly, let's go over to the Wings, because Albert Johansson, the Red Wings fans have waited too long for this video. Look at that picture. What an amazing photograph. The lighting, the shading, the red glow on the side of his face. What a beautiful picture done by the Detroit Red Wings social media team. But the Red Wings have signed defenseman Albert Johansson to a 1-year, 2-way contract extension. This was posted onto the Wings what is it called? The website? Yeah, I kind of blanked out for a little bit there. Let's read this over here together. Red Wings signed defenseman Albert Johansson to a 1-year contract extension. The second-round pick has skated in 119 AHL games with Grand Rapids. Johansson, 23. Oh, it doesn't even say at the beginning that, we have announced that he's signing with the team. This is all just his stats, which we can go over and look at over here on Elite Prospects. 23 years old, 6 feet, 185, left-handed defenseman, drafted 2019 draft 60th overall by Detroit. He had spent the past 2 seasons with Grand Rapids, progressing steadily, progressing well, 15 points in 53 games last year, 21 points in 66 games this most previous season. And if you wanted the scoop as to what this means for Albert Johansson, let's go out there and read this Pro Hockey Rumors article. Josh Eriksson is doing some amazing work here today. Big props over to him. While yet to make his NHL debut, Albert Johansson is a strong candidate to make the opening night roster next season. That's because he is no longer waiver exempt, and Detroit stands a high risk of losing him for nothing if they expose him to the rest of the league during preseason to send him back to the Grand Rapids Griffins. Grand Rapids is where the Swedish defender has spent the entirety of the last 2 seasons. There, the promising 2-way defender has put up solid numbers totaling 11 goals, 25 assists, 36 points, and an even rating in 119 games. It wasn't his first taste of pro hockey, though, as he had played the majority of his preceding 3 seasons in the Swedish Hockey League with Färjestad BK, where he fared well against primarily older competition with 57 points in 141 games. While likely not a first-unit power play quarterback at the NHL level, Johansson is extremely cerebral with the puck and has the skating ability and hands to match. He's solid at puck retrievals and keeping play out of his own end, remaining projectable as a second or third pair NHL defenseman with solid possession numbers and some special team upside. The native of Karlstad, Sweden, was slated for RFA status this summer, although he wasn't eligible for arbitration. That will change next year after 1 more season of pro experience. So this is a pretty good deal. A 1-year prove-it contract, you could say, is being handed out here to Albert Johansson. Given that opportunity at the NHL level, he'll play a season. Maybe he gets scratched a few games here and there, but if he's able to take his game to the next level from the AHL to the NHL, it would follow a pretty steady progression path from SHL to AHL to NHL, and then eventually carving out a National Hockey League career for himself. This is a second-round pick that is looking like a pretty good pickup for the Detroit Red Wings, and this seems to be the next step, so big on Stevie Y for getting this signing done. Let's go over to Vancouver, because there were some other signings that I wanted to talk about as well, starting out with Patrick Allvin announcing the Mark Friedman contract, 1 year, $775,000 AAV. This is a pretty good graphic too. Close-up headshot, you've got the ice and the signature on the top, and then you've got Vancouver and the blue on the right side there, not to mention the second player PNG with the white glow in the top left. That's really nice there. But honestly, Mark Friedman coming back, this isn't like the biggest, most important move for the Vancouver Canucks, but it's one that's not really surprising either. Mark Friedman was used by the Vancouver Canucks in practice pretty regularly. There was that stint where he was on the power play with Gonchar, Tocchet, and then the Sedins. Like, imagine that power play unit suiting up in an NHL game in their primes, and then add Mark Friedman as the 5th guy. Yeah, that's the kind of exposure that Friedman was getting in the Vancouver Canucks system, just being a part of the squad, playing some practice scrimmages here and there. Not really playing too many games, though. He only had, 23 games played with the Vancouver Canucks. He only had 1 assist in the process. Honestly, I'll say that for Vancouver, Friedman looked okay. Like, you don't want to give this guy too many minutes because I think in a bigger role he would end up kind of suffocating himself, but the way he would play in the limited sample he had, 11 minutes a night, 12 minutes a night, and then there were a few games where he was played a little bit more and he didn't look all too great. You give this guy limited minutes and he plays well. He just does the things he needs to do, gets the puck out of his own end, he's physical, he's not afraid to go out there and hurt guys, and against the Philadelphia Flyers, he seems to always find himself a way to end up pissing somebody off. It's a very interesting part of his personality. Jay Fresh also said this about Mark Friedman: he is a model-breaking depth defenseman who has drawn minor penalties at the highest rate of any blue liner in each of the past 3 seasons. My goodness, that is some crazy praise. Other than that, he does pretty well in soft minutes. You can see that Friedman's wins above replacement number is 89%. He has a 100% rating for penalties, so he literally is the best defender in the past 3 years at drawing penalties, and his wins above replacement number is 89% as a result. He's not the best elsewhere. I mean, his finishing is in the 1 percentile, bottom 1 percentile of the NHL. Competition, he doesn't play too well against top competition, and then primary assists, he's only got a 5% wins above replacement number. So Mark Friedman is not really the most important guy, but he's here, he's re-signed, and the Vancouver Canucks, as Patrick Allvin said, some of these free agents, UFAs to be, are going to come back, some of them are going to leave. It just depends on whom, and we'll have to wait a little bit to see which is that. But either way, Mark Friedman is pretty alright. You can see this here, 21-22, Friedman had 345 minutes and 11 penalties drawn. In 22-23, the same thing, 13 penalties drawn in 332 minutes, and then this previous season, 281 minutes, 7 penalties drawn. All told, that's 1.94 minor penalties drawn per 60. Second most is Brendan Smith at 0.89. Friedman also has a 56% expected goal share and 54% goal share in the past 3 seasons. Basically, he's the ideal depth defenseman, wins his soft minutes, and he puts you on the power play. He's the best 6th, 7th D in the world. Yeah, I'm going to go out there and say that. So Mark Friedman, pretty good addition here. Pretty low-key, too. However, he is not the only Vancouver Canucks signing that was made. As Rick Dalibor went out there and tweeted this, the Canucks signed Abbotsford captain Chase Wouters to a 2-year AHL contract, making $225,000 per year. He would have had interest on July 1st. It's a good signing. He's a quality leader in Abbotsford. Okay, I lied. This isn't really a Vancouver Canucks signing, more so as it is an Abbotsford Canucks signing. Chase Wouters, the captain, 2-year AHL contract, $225,000 a year. That is awesome money for an AHL player. Making 6 figures and double 6 figures on top of that, that is pretty good, especially for a guy like Wouters, who has had a pretty solid career up to this point. 24 years old, he's just a tad older than I am. My goodness, I'm getting old. But he is 24, 2000 born, 6 feet, 194, right-handed center-left winger, and this previous season he had 23 points in 68 games played. It's really interesting that he's able to go out there and get this money and this role, considering that his point production really isn't like the best. He has been the captain of the Abbey Canucks, after being the captain of the Saskatoon Blades the past few years too, but he never was really a super highly productive point producer. He's just a good leader, he's good in the room, he's good with the guys, everybody respects this guy, and even though he may not be one of the top point producers on the team, I mean, he's one of the only guys on the Abbotsford Canucks that doesn't have an NHL contract. He's only signed to the AHL team. He still is very important, and Dalibor is saying here that he would have had interest on July 1st had he gone to free agency. So this is a good signing, quality leader for the Abbotsford Canucks coming back. Good on Chase Wouters for continuing his AHL career with the Abbotsford Canucks and making $225,000. That's a lot of money to go out there and play AHL hockey. It's awesome to see. And he's leaving a legacy here in Abbotsford as we speak. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about the signing of Mark Friedman, the signing of Albert Johansson, and the signing of Chase Wouters. My Red Wings and my Canucks are going out there collaborating on the same day with videos. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.